Hi there. Welcome back for the final chapter, chapter 38 of Defender of Dirt. I bet you can guess how the vote went after all that. Mrs. Lindsay announced that as of this meeting's vote, the neighborhood association did not support any follow-up on the complaint against the gardens. What a relief. The gardens had won, and by a big majority. Garrett and Bill invited everyone out into the hallway, where Garrett had prepared plates of egg salad sandwiches, honey and crackers, strawberry shortcake, and peppermint iced tea, all from the gardens. "Let's party," Sam declared. But someone had already beaten us to the snack tables. There was Tessa, protesting loudly at being pulled away by an angry Mrs. Franklin. "I want shortcake," Tessa wailed, one pudgy hand gripping a sandwich. "Not here, not now," her mother said through gritted teeth. Her bracelets clinked loudly as she grabbed Tessa's sandwich and tossed it in a nearby wastebasket. That set off a major tantrum. It was all Mrs. Franklin could do to get Tessa out the door without tipping over in her shooties. Sydney followed, stomping past me. "You wait! This isn't over yet," she hissed over her shoulder. "Maybe it is, maybe it isn't," May said to me between bites of shortcake. "But it sure turned out great today. You were fantastic, Rachel. Rachel Carson would have been proud." The Beckers, the Patels, the Maidas, and Mom and Dad all came and congratulated us too. Soon we were surrounded by neighbors thanking us for our presentation. It was such a whirl, I didn't notice that Sam wasn't there until the crowd thinned a little. Then he rushed up, grinning over his dessert plate. I thought that was because he'd piled on so much whipped cream that you couldn't see the shortcake anymore. But he filled us in on the real reason. Tessa was fussing so hard by the time they left the building, she barfed her egg salad all over Mrs. Franklin's fancy shoes when they got out, he exclaimed. "Ugh," said Molly, "so much for the clean team." We all laughed and then got busy helping Bill and Garrett clean up. That night, I had trouble getting to sleep, even though I was exhausted. What a summer it had been. I hadn't expected to learn so much about gardening, nature, and human nature. I would never have thought I would be giving a real speech outside of school, one that could really matter. I kept thinking about everything Mrs. Murphy said, especially about Mr. Lawhorn and the containers, and about Sydney's threat. What would happen next in the neighborhood? Add in the fact that lately, Dad seemed to be reading a lot of gardening books and magazines. Before bed, I even caught him online reading about raising ducks in the city. Then there's the fact that in less than a month, school starts. Without us. We'd had a jam-packed few weeks getting ready for the big meeting. Now that it's over and May and Molly will be heading back to school, will it get all quiet and boring? Let's see. It's almost time to pick the supersized blackberries off that gigantic bush in May's yard. She's invited us to help. And then I wonder about that kid at the meeting. I've seen him on his bike a few times on the street. He came up to me after the presentation. All he said was, "Cool speech. I'd like to see the garden sometime." Then he slipped into the crowd. What will the next several weeks bring?